Greetings everybody, this is the Redstone Supplemental video for episode 17. We're going to take a look at a few redstone contraptions that's new to the whole villager system here. And we got this guy who's going to be our #1 numero assistento in maintaining the whole redstone stuff here. Yeah, he's a farmer, but he did say that he's curious at how redstone works, so I'll teach him the ways, and hopefully he'll help us out as payback for our services. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is this device here. So as you recall, this is the system that we have implemented to count down how many villagers has gone through the system, right? Okay, and as you recall, this thing is largely activated by this detector rail here. Okay, so when a villager goes to here and activates the detector rail, two things happen. So the signal here gets split. One goes up to where the visualization indicator thingy-majiggy is located, and the other one is here for the global reset of the villager cells. So as you've noted, if you recall, we had only one lamp there activated. So since I put another minecart here, I let a minecart hit the detector rail. Now we got two off out of from two. Okay, two 2 minus 10 is 8. So 2 zombie flesh has gone through the system to get to this dropper here. Okay, we'll revisit that again later. But for now, let's go back up here, painstakingly jumping, but with the skippy, I skippy skip. Okay, here we are. Okay, so as you can see, now we got another piston down, so we got 2 on this indicator here. I don't have food anywhere. Okay, farmer, give me food. Anyway, so the way this works is we've got some eggs on this hopper. This is the main system here. Basically, it takes 6 eggs to activate 1 piston cell here. So when 6 eggs get transferred from this hopper to this hopper, this comparator here outputs a signal, so it changes the signal strength, so whatever is equivalent to, that's so weird, 18 eggs would power up this piston. So again, if we add another 6 eggs to the 18, this will get powered up, and so on and so forth. And the way we do that is essentially few things. So the signal from the detector rail down there gets inputted all the way up here. Now the signal gets split. One is to activate this T flip-flop here, which is currently inactivated now. But when it gets activated, when the signal comes up here, this thing, actually, I guess they both get activated first. It used to be that this line was delayed, but I guess I changed it up because now we have eggs. Because before we used to use zombie flesh, and when I had zombie flesh, it worked, but it just took way too long, because literally you had to wait, like, I think it was 23 or I think 22. I'm not sure what I came down to, but I think it was like 22, 23 would output a signal, like a increase in strength. So, and that just took way too long. I think it took like 10-15 seconds to activate the lamp once the villager has activated the detector rail. So yeah, I after figuring out like how to make it fast, I wanted to play around with hopper minecarts here, but I don't think this would have worked anyway. But what worked was this, because since we have less items that would provide the same signal strength as 23 items. So 23 zombie flesh equals 6 eggs, basically. It's faster, much faster. So that's what I opted to do. But since it's faster, I mean, since there's less items to funnel, it kind of gets tricky with how we do the timings for it. So again, to iterate, the signal splits. One goes here to activate this T flip-flop, which turns off this torch. This then retracts, allows the items from this hopper to flow to the next, and that's how we increase the signal strength based on this comparator here and down that line. So what this timer here is for is to, yes, it's to essentially count 6 eggs going from this hopper to the next. Literally, that's all it does. And even with the repeaters that we have initiated here, well, since we can fix the tick delay on repeaters, we're able to make it so that way there's not one egg or one egg less or one egg more that goes into the next hopper. It's always 6, precisely 6. So once the 6 eggs go to this hopper, this redstone line gets activated and triggers the T flip-flop again to turn this off. And again, from some miracle, this hopper does not get any more or less than 6 eggs. It's perfect. So, okay. So let's do that again. Well, I don't know if I can show you. Can I show you? Oh yeah, I have a button here. Okay, this button is a representative of how this works. So here. Okay. That's very quick, right? But here. There we go. Okay, again. See that? So that should be 5. Okay. So essentially, when this gets filled up all the way to the end, what I actually want to happen is, in the future, I'm going to implement like some sort of light show and music show. Sorry about that lag. I'm having some weird lag after updating to 1.14. It's very strange. But yeah, so I'm gonna have like a few pistons here lined up, and I wanted to like kind of do like some sort of cool light show. I don't know how to program that yet. I've never done anything like that before, but at least node blocks I know how to play around with, but light show, I don't know, but we'll see. So anyway, but for now, what happens is when we reach this final block here, it's going to auto reset right away. Although I just thought about it now, I could put some delay here, but maybe I will. I'll put a delay. Anyway, let's just take a look at what happens here. So let me explain to you first. So when it reaches 10, this signal gets transferred to this line here. This line then activates this one tick pulse generator, which would activate this T flip-flop here. And what that does is it's going to retract this piston to allow all the eggs to flow to this hopper. Give me a second. Yeah, anyway, ignore that for now. And just this allowing reset. And what happens also is I got this comparator here, and this comparator also gives out a signal strength output, so that once this hopper is full of eggs, or all the eggs gets transferred back to this hopper, this line here is going to trigger this repeater, which is going to increase the signal strength length. I mean, goes back to this one tick pulse generator to turn off this T flip flop over here, or to activate it again to put this back on extended mode. So let's take a look at that. Okay, one tick pulse generator just went through. There you go. As you can see, it's backtracking now. It's pretty cool how that does that. But that's essentially the eggs going back. So let's take a look at this. As you can see, the signal strength is increasing. Then once we get here, it's going to fire this one tick pulse generator, and everything's back to reset. And there we go. And we're ready to count, starting from 0. Cool stuff. So now let's take a look at the stuff down below, and we are here. Anyway, let's see. So again, detector rail splits the signal. There's a split of signal. One goes up, the other one goes here to the right, which triggers this dropper to activate and drop a zombie flesh into this hopper, which gets collected by this dropper. So this thing here is really to allow a reset. So once there's 10 items in this dropper, or more like once there's no more items in this top dropper here, so from 8 to 0, it will no longer output a signal to this comparator. This comparator will no longer output a signal because there's 0 items. So what happens is this redstone, this stone brick block no longer gets a redstone. It's no longer powered by redstone, which makes this piston retract because it's no longer getting powered. So what happens then is this redstone block here is currently having this whole system locked, because if it's not locked right now, what will happen is this dropper will automatically launch whatever zombie flesh it receives to this top dropper over here, and that won't get anywhere, right? So once this is unlocked, it will only unlock when this is full. So that way, once it's unlocked, it's going to fire all of its zombie flesh to the top dropper here to reset it. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of this. And this also, when it unlocks, it also does another function, and that is to, one function is to activate this timer, because as I explained in the Let's Play video, we need a timer so that there won't be a global reset of the villager cells here until that one villager goes around this this loop here and gets to this area here. So once they fall in here, then by the time there still should be time, but a few seconds or maybe a minute or so after the villager falls in there, this thing will initiate a reset. So there's ample of time for the villager to clear the whole whole loop. Let me just give you a brief overview of how this loop looks like to begin with. Okay, go over here. All right. So just imagine, oops. All right. Let's reset right now. What the? That's weird. Oh. All right, no, that's fine. Okay. Anyway, just imagine a villager like swimming, literally swimming through this whole loop. Right, so they have to go all the way here, then past here, and then over here. So that takes a while, right? So that's why we got that timer. It works perfectly. Okay. So in terms of the timer, it's just a regular etho clock. But what happens is, so we've got a 1-tick pulse generator here to activate this piston, you know, just to start the clock, the timer. So as you can see here, this would reset back to this position because this no longer is getting a this block, this redstone line here, this specific redstone will no longer be powered because all of the items are funneling from this hopper to the next one here. So that way, you know, that retracts, and once all the items go to this, it gets transferred to here, back again, and that would start building up this signal here. And once it gets to this, basically this, it's gonna generate that 1-tick pulse. I'm gonna light up this whole array of redstone lines, and the whole thing resets. So that's the reset part, the global reset part. This one is to this whole section here is to reset, essentially reset these 2 pistons here. Because these 2 pistons are necessary to allow the whole thing to work the first place. So funny, we have another clock here, but this is to what does this clock do again? The clock allows for all the items from this dropper to get to the top dropper here. So once that happens, it will basically go back to a locking position again, right? So this is what this is for. So so we have a T flip-flop here. So as you can see, the signal here kind of splits, right? So it's like it splits here to here, and then here it splits here to here. So these 2 are for resetting this system here. So one to immediately power this this clock here to initiate, to allow for the items here to reset, and this line is for this observer here. We have an observer. Okay. And that observer, when it detects that redstone pulse, would send a redstone signal to this repeater, which would trigger this T flip-flop to no longer provide a signal to this piston over here, sticky piston. When that happens, this retracts, and that gets no longer locked. So when this T flip-flop is deactivated, we're waiting for the timer to run out, this clock to run its course. Once the 23 zombie flesh gets to here, a redstone signal gets activated, sends another pulse to this T flip-flop to reset it back to this state, literally this state, and it resets the whole system. So that's how this all works. I don't know if I could condense it to be a little bit smaller more compact, but this is how it works. But again, as I was stating in the previous video, in the Let's Play video, I can literally just do away with this system because all I really need is this timer here to provide a reset here. Because what I can really do is I can just bring the signal from this top system here, this visual counter majiggy, right? So what I was thinking was I can literally whatever signal I have here, this line, right? Because once it reaches here, it resets, right? So, well, I mean, once the redstone signal reaches all the way to the end, this whole thing resets. So I can just, I was thinking I just take part of this line and put it straight down, right? And that would lead to the to this timer, to this clock here, to allow for the global reset to count down. But what I was trying to think was that we cannot have that system be substituted for the system here. I think. I'm not right. I'm not quite sure, but or maybe we can, but there's no point. Anyway, I just kept this here because it works and it's kind of cool. So let's demonstrate this to you now. Okay, dropper. So let's just cut it to 2. Okay, so we've got, so this represents how there's already 8 villagers that have gone through the loop, and we got 2 more left. So 1, and watch this, 2. Okay. Uh-huh. So as you can see, as I said, this timer is for the reset. Okay, so again, a few things happened there. 1, oh, if I do this, it makes a weird clocking thing. Oh yeah, it's weird, I know, very strange. But anyway, wait, what's going on? Hold on. Okay, there we go. So again, I'll just do it again. Okay. So minute by minute. Okay. So this activates this line here, activates this timer. This already fired its pulse. As you can see, the redstone line there activates. It resets this T flip-flop here, thus resetting the whole system. Having this locked and having all the items go to this dropper here to reset the system. Now we got this timer here. As you can see, it's counting down. Counting down. So I actually don't think we need the 1-tick pulse generator here, but I'll just leave it in for now, just in case some weird bug stuff happens, or you know. But anyway, as you can see, it's flowing all the zombie flesh from one to the next. Let's quicken it a bit. So we can see this in action here. So as you can see, the pulse is the signal strength is strengthening. There you go. 1-tick pulse resets the whole thing. Now granted, this thing is all over the place, but as you can see, here we go. Reset, reset. Yep. So that's how that works. Okay. I guess one more thing. Oh, a few more things. Okay, if you folks don't know how this works, you can just check out what's it, episode 16, and I'll show you how this whole thing works. But essentially, you got a villager that goes down here from the sorter area. They flow down here, they go here. They trigger this detector rail. This detector rail switches the direction of this rail from going to the right, then it goes to the left. Once they do that, they trigger the string here. When they trigger the string, two things happen. One, it sends a signal up to the note block that is being blocked by glass right now. And two, it does this. Okay. Basically, what happens there is this piston retracts. Oh, first of all, this slime block gets retracted, which retracts this powered rail here. Then this piston pushes the terracotta underneath it. So, and what that does is it pushes whatever villager that falls into that slot forward. Okay. And it does it all without breaking this powered rail. Because because we want that powered rail to be there. Because what happens is when the villager gets dislodged because of this activator rail here, we need for that the minecart to go backwards to go to this cactus breaker picker-upper of minecart system. So essentially, when again, it's activated again. When the slime block launches forward again, it's going to hit that minecart that gets placed there, that gets stuck there. Here, maybe we can simulate it with this. Wait, actually, here. Let's go here, down. Okay, well, so without a villager, it would sort itself out automatically. But there was a villager, the minecart will literally just stop there because the system gets activated. Right. So they get stuck, like, I think they get stuck either here or here. But then once I get off the string, that slime block is going to push that minecart to go down here and back there and get broken by the cactus and picked up. And go to an item stream to go get picked up somewhere else. Okay. But what I really wanted to show you was this. So this is the system that we have for pushing villagers' heads down. Now what I mean by that is this. Okay, so just take note of this. Let's explain it to you now, actually. So as you can see, we got a string system here. When a villager goes through that string, it activates this redstone line here. And as you can see, it's set up for maximum delay because we want this piston to activate a bit late, and we also want it to stay powered as long as possible, which is why the line here splits up into two. One for this, one for this. It's just really to prolong the signal. Let's see, let's show you how that works. Okay. So the villager would land here, and then once they do, that's the whole string system. This piston would push the villager to here, and then that's where they're gonna start flowing. But because villagers like to swim upwards, as you can see, if they keep swimming upwards, they would get stuck at this half slab here. So when they trigger this string, as you can see, that piston is going to send down it's going to activate and would cause a half slab to boop the villager's head. So let's demonstrate that. There we go. It's really just to let them go through the stream, you know, without getting stuck there. So again. So as you can see, I made it to be as delayed as possible. Although the only problem is, the only problem I had here before was if I loaded up way too many villagers here, it would cause them to kind of get clogged up here, and they would all get stuck here. Right, so my remedy for that is, again, remember that note block? Whenever a villager goes through that string, it would tell me, okay, the villager has made it to this part of the system. I can safely deploy another villager. So that way, no villagers get clogged up here, or they won't get stuck. Oop. So before, I think I had a full block, but I reverted it. I converted it to a half slab now, and I think they don't take damage from it, because before they would take damage from being hit by a whole block, but I think the half slab is fine. So should I demonstrate to you how this thing works? Sure. So when a villager falls here, they trigger a few things. They trigger this observer here, which would fire this piston and essentially push them towards this water stream. For human players, it doesn't work, but for villagers it does. So whenever a villager falls here, they would instantaneously get flung towards that direction. Oops. That's weird. Anyway, should I explain how this works too? I mean, I guess I could. So, okay. Okay, so we got a few systems going on here. So when it's activated right now, this is activated. So this would normally be open. So the two things happen here actually. This piston and this trapdoor stops the water flow here, and this is open to, you know, enable the villager to fall in. So that way they will fall in through here, but they won't continue forward until they've fallen through. Once they've fallen through, this thing would reset to how it looks like here, and this will allow for the water to continue downwards, right? So so basically this redstone block here allows for this trapdoor to close, because without it, literally the trapdoor is going to be like this, and of course a villager can't go through that. So this is key. This redstone block is key. I've tried torches before. It doesn't work because this water would just wash it away. So yeah, this is vital. So okay, let's see. So when this observer so when this string here gets disturbed, this observer picks it up, sends a signal down here. So that signal does two things. One, it activates this piston to fire, to push the villager down down this water stream. Two, it triggers this line here. This line essentially enables well, it triggers this T flip-flop system here. So with this, when this T flip-flop is activated, it's going to close the cell basically. So as you can see, the cell closed and the water stream is allowed to pass through. As you can see, it reverted back to its original configuration, which is like something like this, right? So let's take a look at how that works. So this T flip-flop here, when powered, will provide a signal to this stone brick over here, which provides signal to the repeater system down there, which would open the trapdoor to allow them to fall through. And it would also power this piston here to push the trap door to stop the water stream and to essentially force the villager to fall through the hole. So let's see again how that works. You stop it. And there we go. This is default configuration. So literally they'll have to fall through here. There's only one problem with this system, and it's that literally a villager can just get stuck here, right? But through some weird luck, if I have this trapdoor here in the beginning, they won't try to move left or right. They'll just start from where they, where they got displaced, like how they got displaced. So they literally just swim like this. They go fall through like that. So having trapdoors there is pretty much essential. Okay, one thing to show again, I do have a bunch of trapdoors lined up here against the wall just to orient them. What the? See? So that way when they go here, this is pushed, and they go fall down, and etc. and etc. Okay. I think one more thing to show you is the elevator. For this whole contraption, just watch episode 16. It will really tell you how the whole thing functions, because it's too much to show for this video. So again, this is a water elevator that goes up and down with a push of the button. So I mean, there's nothing really special about this water elevator. I think it's a design that's used up by a lot of people. I'm not sure if this is how people designed it, but this is how I designed it. Essentially, we got... Okay, this is how I got it to work, right? It's weird, I know, but this is how I got it to work. So I have a T flip-flop here, right? When I push that button over there, it would activate this T flip-flop essentially, which would make it go activate this piston or this piston. It would basically activate whichever piston has a block next to it, or more like they're both going to activate, but the piston that has blocks next to it would push the blocks back and forward. And I couldn't get it to work with if I had this side set up similarly to this side. For some reason, like literally this piston won't fire if I had them both at the same configuration. So it seems like having a observer generate a very quick pulse is what makes this happen. I'm sure there's a more compact way to do this or what, but hey, this is what works for me. Let me see if I can go ahead and demonstrate it to you with the power of this button here. Okay. Okie dokie. So again, there's a button up there, triggers this T flip-flop. So we got this torch here. It's essentially what determines Which system gets powered first? I think. I'm pretty sure I can have this configured another way, but hey, this works. So right now this is off and this is on, right? So if I press this, this is off, this is on, to allow for this piston to push these blocks over there. Okay, and vice versa. Oh, now I remember how this works. Actually, if I no, this is, I'm not gonna change the design. I think I've done it before and it doesn't work. So again, because one could argue that, heck, it's just a T flip-flop, so it's just going to deactivate one piston and activate another, right? Well, again, if I have this setup, same similar setup applied over here, it's not going to work. I don't know what it is. I think it's like having both repeaters on at the same time. So for some reason, having this piston be one tick, like a few ticks shorter or one tick shorter, would allow for this to work. So yeah, very simple design. And as you can see, this T flip-flop is I've incorporated it into my Redstone Redstone toolbox. Well, there you have it, folks, and as you can tell by the length of this video, there is a reason why I did not want to incorporate this into the main video. And yeah. And this farm is officially dead. It's like the whole update just really changes the dynamics. I mean the mechanics of villagers. So I think this guy needs a requirement before it can start harvesting potatoes again. But for now, it's not going to do that anymore. And I think with that, the potato system, the cool, quick potato system I have here doesn't work either. Bummer. Okay. Well, folks, that does it for this Redstone supplemental video. It's a pretty long video, but at least if you were curious about how the Redstone works, you probably know how it works now better. If you don't, or if I confuse you a bit more, just watch it again. Maybe you'll put two and two together if you watch the video again. But yeah, until then, actually I can't believe I managed to record this. I really recorded this after recording the Let's Play episode. Anyway, it's late. I want to go to sleep. But I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, one thing. I'm pretty sure you folks already know this, but so I didn't know. I was trying to figure out how to stop item flow from a hopper to a hopper minecart. At first, I thought I had to like trigger the hopper, like to power the hopper, but that doesn't do anything because if I just power the hopper, the items from here will go down. Actually, wait, hold on. You know what? Okay, before I explain this, I know some of you already know how this works, but if you don't, stick around after this because I'll explain to you what I discovered. Until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Redstone supplemental video. I'll see you next week for the next episode. I'm still a bit salty about the whole burning down of the castle thing, but anyway, see you in the next one, folks. Until then, take care, have a good day, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye-bye. And for you folks curious about how this works, so what okay, so again, powering this hopper does not work. I tried to power this minecart like this, right? So just pretend the rail underneath it is not there. Okay, that's the activator rail, by the way. So if that's not there, and it's just a hopper minecart on top of this hopper here, and this thing is powering this, no dice. Even if I put a repeater next to the hopper, or if I put a redstone line, no dice, because that's just not how. Essentially, minecarts have their own way of accepting redstone, and that's through the several rail types, right? Hold on, let me get some food here. You know what? This is the backup world anyway. Yeah, eat all the golden apples. Who cares? Okay, so these three are the main ways you provide redstone power or redstone influence to a minecart. So we got your powered rail, your activator rail, and your detector rail. So the detector rail is what allows for a minecart to essentially send a signal, provide a signal, provide an output. Is this redstone? Okay, no, it's not. Okay. Okay. So put a rail there. Well, as you can see, the detector rail powers this redstone line and the adjacent rail next to it. So if this powered rail was there, it's going to activate the power rail, and the power rail would stay on for a little bit just to allow the minecart to go through. Actually, that's how some people used to have it's how they used to model their railways, is to have detector rails next to powered rails, so that way they don't need to put like a what do you call it, a lever to activate the anyway. So the activator rail is what allows you to provide power. Oh man. Provide power to a minecart. And it's also what's responsible for knocking knocking passengers out of minecarts, as you can see. But it's also to activate hoppers, which I'll explain to you in a bit. And of course, you all know how this works. Powered minecarts just allows for minecarts to be kinetically launched forward. Anyway, that's that. So what I found was that, again, sure, some of you know this already. If you don't, if we have a hopper minecart sitting on an activator rail, it's going to stop item flow from the top container to the hopper minecart. Because watch. You see that? So if I stop it, it's still going to allow for the hoppers below to pull the items in there. But, oops, my inventory is so full. Okay, lantern. Okay, but if I have this powered on, this hopper minecart, it's not going to accept any items. Okay. So initially, this is the method I was thinking for this, but I think it would have been very complicated to have this system, and for two reasons. One, it's tricky to determine the timings for the hopper minecart, because I mean we can have what. So if we put zombie flesh. That's 23 items to go from this to from the container below, above it to the hopper minecart below. Or we can have the eggs, which is 6, but still it's pretty complicated because just how basically how fast the pull is from the hopper minecart just makes it very difficult, very tricky. But the other thing is, sure, the hopper minecart sucks all the items up from there. I mean, what we can do with that knowledge is we can make like a receding power line, receding redstone line, so that way instead of us having it progressively light up, we have it progressively light off or turn off, which is what this would entail if we did it this way. But nah, I don't want that. I don't want to mess with that. Plus, actually, yeah, that would have worked. The other way around is if we have hopper minecarts funnel items to this hopper and have a comparator underneath it. It's going to be just as fast as two regular hoppers conjoined together. So basically, the only thing that this is good for is to suck items out from the hopper above. And there's also the other complication of like resetting the whole thing. So basically, this hopper would have to be turned off too, and then we would then activate it to turn on to send items back on a loop to this hopper on the top. That's just complicated. I think this system is better. Slower, but it's better, I think, for this system. I think we can, with this knowledge that I've learned from this, you can definitely input it from other ways. But like again, a down count. Oh man, it's late. I'm tired. I can't. I'm not making sense of what I'm saying right now. But yeah. So now this is the final goodbye. Oh boy. So man, so much redstone. I'm so tired of redstone. I'm so pale. Okay, folks. This is for reals. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do in the next video, but for now, I got some things to fix. Okay, I'll see you then. But now, again, take care as always. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Oh, bye bye.